We will get it. I'll send it to you. I'll do it. Good afternoon, everyone. We welcome you all for the second session. Yeah. Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. We welcome you all for this launch ceremony of IIT Bombay FOSSEE's Geospatial Mapathon 4th edition and the first edition of Geospatial IoT Hackathon. I'll request Professor Kannan to give the welcome address for the session.
Thank you, Kasim. Professor Karandikar, Secretary DST, Professor Nasir Ahmed, Vice Chancellor, Kashmir Agricultural University, Professor Kale, Baba Sahib Ambedkar Technological University, Dr. Sunil, ICFOSS Director, Professor Kedare, IIT Bombay Director, and other dignitaries here. We also have the Vice Chancellor of UP Technical University joining remotely. There are apparently about 200 people who have joined remotely. Welcome all of you to this program on GIS Mapathon and IoT Hackathon. This is being launched by the FOSSEE project, Free and Open Source Software for Education, funded by the Ministry of Education, Government of India, jointly with our partners. So we are very happy to have all of you here for this event. Just a couple of minutes about what we do here. The FOSSEE project and a sister project, Spoken Tutorial, through which we have been training, we have trained about 80 to 90 lakh students in the past 10 years. And FOSSEE promotes people to the level of contributors, trains people to the level of contributors. That is the unique thing about it. FOSSEE promotes open source software such as Python, Scilab, electronic circuit design, computational fluid dynamics, and various topics like that, various open source software systems like that. And of course, GIS, the software QGIS for GIS activity. And that is being led by the group here, by Professor Pennan here. He leads that effort for FOSSEE. Now, GIS is, of course, an amazing activity. It is, it is difficult to explain all of it in a very short time. But we saw several examples of it in the morning. In fact, a friend of mine was recently telling it may be possible to map all the solar panels in every household, for example. That will be an interesting mapping activity, for example. On the one hand, we have national level maps from the satellite. But on the other hand, some of the lower level, that is, let's say, at the people level, information may not be available. For example, one of the things I told you was about this solar panels. We had the problem of identifying hospitals during COVID that had oxygen capability, for example. Mapping of that would have been useful. One of the collectors had contacted us and said that farmers in their village have difficulty in reaching the produce to the market because some of the roads are blocked or some highways have come. Is it possible to know how to travel, for example? So many of these things are to be mapped at the ground level. So that can be done by students, for example, and students of even schools, students of colleges, of course. And that is where activities such as Mapathon are extremely useful, because it introduces a competitive spirit and asks the students to participate and deliver something useful. And IoT, of course, we just now saw ICFOSS talking about how they have put sensors all over the place in Kerala, for example. They have IoT-enabled panchayats, for example. Once again, they say that IoT means GIS, because you put all over the place and you have to map them. So in this way, you see that the contribution is from bottom up, ground level. Both IoT Hackathon and also GIS Mapathon are the two activities that are being undertaken. And I want to welcome all of you for this event. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I request Professor Shirish Kedare, the Director of IIT Bombay, to give the inaugural address.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm happy to be here, and I have been with interacting with Professor Kannan, and through him the concept of FOSSEE, and of course there are other faculty also whom I have interacted and tried to understand FOSSEE. So I think it's a very interesting effort, and as he says, free open source software, that is a thing, and he has explained that it has implications on industry, agriculture, health systems, and I'm actually involved in one of the project, not as an expert but as a research manager, I'll say facilitator, with Indian oil industry, where softwares can be indigenized and through open source, free open source softwares. All the softwares can be through free open source. So he is very much involved along with other domain experts. And we are going ahead, and to the extent that uh, the companies are thinking that they now should slowly, at least R&D, should shift to this software. Rather than bought out software, they will shift to this software. That's a good mean, it's a quality benchmarking, I'll say, because for these commercial companies, refineries and other, it's very risky if they are not sure that the software is good. So it's a good benchmarking effort by FOSSEE and Professor Kannan. As he explained, GIS and IoT are how it's very important. But one thing I have noted in this note that he has provided me about FOSSEE, the word participation has come many times. So the whole effort of FOSSEE is through participation. And many experts, many students, faculty are getting involved in it through participation, free open source participation, I'll say. And it is leading to projects which are encouraging participation, like participation of rural people, panchayat, students, faculty, young entrepreneurs. See, we have talent which is like constrained by the software which is not available. So if the software like open source free software is available, there is no end for innovation for these students and new generation. I think so. Through participation, it is encouraging participation of people into the whole system of governing, whole system of development. So this is very important, I think, and participation has been the theme of our culture, inclusiveness and participation. We say You know this, Sarve pi sukhina santu. So that is, we emphasize on server, that is all. Like everybody should be involved in the process. That's what our effort is. If we are not working, our economics are not limited to some people who can buy, right? So the software should not be open to or available to some people who can buy, but it should be available for all, and their innovation should reflect. So I think this is a major step. As you said, they have reached to 80 to 90 lakh people, trained them, enabled them to develop. It's a big thing, I'll say. So, and the Mapathon that is being done, it's a very interesting effort. And of course, there are many FOSSEE Day, and there are many other events and activities that FOSSEE do. So very good. All the best to FOSSEE and all the best for the Mapathon. Thank you. And thanks to all for participation, right?
Thank you, sir. So next, I would like to invite Professor Roshan Srivastav. So he will be just giving a short brief because we would like to honor our partner agency, IIT Tirupati's Technology Innovation Hub, who has been supportive with all the FOSSEE GS activities.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I've never lectured such a serious crowd. Everybody is so serious, short. So, good evening, everyone. Yeah, hi. So, I am Dr. Roshan Srivastav. I'm a faculty from Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering from IIT Tirupati. I'm also currently project director for Technology Innovation Hub at IIT Tirupati, which is on positioning and precision technologies. There was a nice scheme came up by the government of India, something called National Mission on Interdisciplinary Cyber Physical Systems. How many of you heard about NMICPS before? Have you anybody heard about them? Only few of them. Okay, so NMICPS government has established, you know, today CPS has become one of the areas where we are well connected. In fact, when I'm talking, everybody is holding on the phone. So it's like we are almost connected with CPS. And what we do is mostly the imports, what is coming in country is also from CPS. So India wanted to be self-reliant in the CPS. The government of India has, I mean, technically divided the CPS into 25 verticals. The named verticals are like from AI, ML, underwater exploration, IoT, you name it. I think we fall into one of these technologies. Now, they have established about 25 technology innovation hubs across the countries. Most of the hubs are with IITs, some of them are with IIITs, and also one of the hubs with BITS Pilani. So, overall 25 hubs. One of the hubs is on positioning and precision technologies, which is GIS, remote sensing, GPS, and other non-invasive technologies. Now, when I'm talking about the TIH IIT Tirupati, I'm also representing all 25 technology innovation hubs. We do the same thing. The only thing is the areas and verticals vary. Our main objective is to look at four major areas, whereas we look at translational research. Most of our faculties are bound to look at only research papers, but what we are saying is you need to convert research to products. Now, products after that, how it can be taken to commercial. But the first step should be to convert the research into products. This is one thing. Second is how do we cater for the human resource development in the country in these areas. So we have human resource development and skill development programs. One of the major objectives to get in touch with the FOSSEE is we provide fellowships to the startups who are working in product developments, and Mapathon is one area where we wanted to collaborate and get the quality students coming up and where we can support at the next level. There's a ladder of events what is happening from Mapathon, which will help us to identify students who are best students, faculties, and then they later become also the entrepreneurs. So we see that ladder going up. Then the third is today we talk more about the startup ecosystem, wherein we support much of our funding for startups, right from, so it's a risk-free journey what we are trying to see from the technology innovation hubs. And the fourth one comes under international collaborations, wherein we see how we can collaborate, not even the experts, but whether we can bring in the IPs from outside to India and give it to the startups or industry and see that the technology is developed in-house. So my association with the FOSSEE, with Professor Kannan and his team, Qasim and Pennan, has been almost about 2.5 years when we first met. Then immediately I got connected. The amount of work which has gone by the team from FOSSEE to connect all the students across the country is enormous. I think first we should congratulate them and give a big round of applause for all the efforts what they have done. Secondly, what I felt as a technology innovation hub on geospatial sector is we also wanted to promote open source. At the end of the day, we are balancing between the proprietary and open source, but we would like to more or less promote the open source, and this is how our association with FOSSEE has started. We have collaborated with last year's Mapathon. It was a huge success. We got a lot of applications. Then we also sponsored number of students to do high quality. In fact, I think there were about 20 to 30 small products which have come out of this program. Even this year, we are thinking it will be a much bigger program. So we at IIT Tirupati and with we started augmenting the support of giving support to the FOSSEE team so that we can make this program much successful. With this, I would like to thank every one of you who are here. I would like to thank the dignitaries who are here for the support. Thank you so much. If you have any questions about Technology Innovation Hub, we'll be very happy to answer that.
Thank you so much, Professor Roshan. So next we have Professor Pennan Chinnasamy, who's the co-PI and the lead of FOSSEE GIS vertical. Professor Pennan is also the professor in charge for the Rural Data Research Analysis Lab here at IIT Bombay under the Center for Technology Alternatives for Rural Areas.
Very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to IIT Bombay, the visitors and the dignitaries. It's a pleasure to introduce why we came up with this idea. As Professor Roshan was saying, it has reached a lot of people. And we'll just go through quickly why and how this idea came up from rural development to need for geospatial mapathons. So all of us know that India's growth is at a high pace. Yes, in the morning we had a discussion on this. It is the fastest growing economy in Asia. A lot of new growth, new techs have been set up. Startups are booming. A lot of startups are coming. However, we want this to be more in a sustainable fashion, right? And all of our governments are working towards agriculture 4.0, industry 4.0. With the 4.0 is just basically the smart version of agriculture and industry connections, connectivities, internet, etc. So coming back, we have. You can see this. Yeah. So what has happened is there has been a lot of need for data for problem solving. For example, let's take water is not available in rural areas. How much is the first question? And at what time? Temporal and both spatial resolutions. So there was no data available, and it's not anyone's fault. It's just the data is expensive to collect. And so that is where we had used different secondary sources, and one of the secondary sources we'll look at this. Data issues are there. There's a lot of data gaps, and I've worked across countries like US, Singapore, even developed nations have it. So developing nations and other nations are facing these difficulties. Equal capacity has to be built. So when we say participation, we also wanted everyone from the bottom-up approach, stakeholders to participate in this data. And for this, technology and capacity was to be built. And that is where FOSSEE started this program of educating through QGIS. One of the other accessories that you see here is like all the satellites. It's a caricature, but still, there's going to be a lot of satellites that are going to be released. And you see around the globe how many satellites are going around. So all this data has to be processed, and one of the softwares that could process it is GIS. The proprietary version is very expensive, so we promote open source. So when you say paid versus open source, around 60,000 crores is spent on proprietary software across India, just in government organizations. If you could use that as for for development in any other scheme like Manrega or something, it's equivalent to a Manrega budget, 60,000 crores we're looking at. And then we look at paid versus open software, and FOSSEE's mandate is to promote open source. And now a lot of ICT, IoT tools are there. Even IIT has the Tinkering Lab, eYantra Labs. A lot of these small devices can be made at low cost, affordable. And this is beautiful as the QGIS is related to all the ministries. It's just not water, it's just not health. It's rural development, societal impacts. Across the platforms, across the ministries, it is there. And the government is promoting Agriculture 4.0. So this is the FAO's book, if you look at it. And you could see all these connectivity, drones, and wireless data that is being collected. But at the end of the day, it has to go to a mapping software, and that is what GIS we are looking at. So to conclude, growth in India is tremendous. We are in a positive growth. However, we also have to feed a big population. So where agriculture is a very, very demanding sector. A lot of data collection is happening at tremendous levels. Our phones are providing data without our knowledge, right? So how can we pool all this data for the betterment of people? That is what this is happening. And this is our supercomputer. And so through this, we also have given the capacity to other colleges, other universities to participate and use this computing software we have, and the capacity for analysis at different levels. With this, these are the 3 Mapathons we had. The first Mapathon 2020 with AICT, you'd see different partners because we want to explore different partnerships. The second one was also with AICTE and GRSS. Third one was Tirupati, and the fourth one is going to be inaugurated today. The success of this was seen especially during the COVID because everyone was able to use open source software in COVID situations. 2 things beautiful about open source is it is light on your system. So even a small laptop, not a heavy duty laptop can run it. So even a small laptop, and the internet was limited. Okay, so to conclude, I'd like to thank all the office bearers and funders for running this program. Especially the first Mapathon was promoted by the Prime Minister's office, with the Prime Minister himself speaking a couple of words on this, that we need to collect data at multiple levels and for the betterment of people, farmers, and to educate them. So the governments which are included are NMEICT, DST, AICTE, and our FOSSEE team, collaborators, stakeholders. And someone said participants, yes, without the participants, we cannot do it. So the first participation was 9,000. According to the online sources, 9,000 is the highest, world's highest participation for the Mapathon. So it happened in IIT Bombay, so we're very happy about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Pinnan. Now I would request Professor Abhay Karandikar, sir, Secretary, DST Government of India, to give his keynote address.
Change the website.
Sir, back करने के बाद करते हैं. Mic. Sir, और थोड़ा ऊपर.
Thank you very much. First of all, yeah. So first of all, let me begin by congratulating the IIT Bombay team. Professor Kedare, Director IIT Bombay, and Professor Kannan Modgil for this FOSSEE team. As was mentioned in the just now the presentation, as you know that which was very nicely brought out the importance of the geospatial data. As all of you know that the geospatial data and mapping was under the tight control of the Government of India for a long time. And recently our government has taken many major initiatives. One was the geospatial guidelines that were issued in 2021, and then the geospatial data policy which was announced in December 2022. These 2 were major milestones followed by the complete restructuring of the Survey of India organization. And that has led to now the liberalization of the geospatial sector. Now, going forward, we are taking many steps. And in this context, I think this Mapathon has come at the right time. We are working currently on a national geospatial mission. Probably after the election, we will take it to the cabinet. But more importantly, in the geospatial data policy, one important aspect was mentioned of creating a national geospatial data registry and a universal geospatial interface, UGI. We believe that the UGI will become very akin to UPI of course, as you know that the UPI has become for the payment transactions, but the universal geospatial interface will become a platform for sharing the geospatial data, where, as you know, that the policy has now allowed anyone, like whether it is an industry or whether it is another government agency or whether it is a user, to collect the geospatial data. They will be able to share it on this UGI platform, and the user agencies which wants to make use of that data will be able to pull out that data through the APIs which will be available, and may be able to develop several applications and interfaces. We have put this launch of the UGI and the National Geospatial Data Exchange as a goal that we will release it in the next 6 months. And I believe this will be really transformative in the context of the entire geospatial sector in the country. We also would like to create an ecosystem of startups and technology developments and user agencies. We already have a center in IIT Bombay, which is running it in the computer science department with Professor Milind Sonis as a PI, and also one center in IIT Kanpur and another one in Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. But we would like to actually strengthen it further in order to see that we really create a good R&D ecosystem in the geospatial sectors. In the technology innovation hub that has been created on NMICPS, IIT Tirupati's hub has been focusing on the geospatial technologies. And again, in the coming years, we would like to see that the activities of such efforts, whether that is a center at IIT Bombay or at IIT Kanpur or at ISC or at IIT Tirupati, can be actually synergized to make that kind of an impact. In the, one other thing is that the geospatial policy, or the geospatial sector or geospatial science has been traditionally linked or has been traditionally considered as a civil engineering discipline. But increasingly now, with all these geospatial data available in large amounts, it is now becoming more and more like a data science area. And therefore, we believe that there is a need for involvement of more computer scientists and data scientists to see whether we can have programs in the area of spatial computing and spatial data science to mine all the data which we are creating and make useful sense for several applications, whether it is in the area of agriculture, or whether it is in the area of land and water resources, or for hydrology, or for urban planning, or for rural planning. We did this experiment in the recent, the Government of India's program of Swamitva program for the Ministry of Panchayati Raj. where the geospatial data are being used to transfer the ownership rights to the landowners. In fact, currently, I think we don't even have in the rural area the demarcation of the plots and the ownership of the land properly. And we have been able to do a large number of villages, and this exercise is going on under the Swamitva program. But I believe that we should be able to use this even for the urban land planning and urban housing sectors as well. And finally, it remains to be seen to create a map. As you know, I mean, all of you are using Google Maps, but you know that in the Indian context, there have been several inaccuracies and also, the updation of the maps, particularly the speed at which the lanes and bylanes and the roads and the flyovers are changing, that is not getting reflected even in the Google Maps. So we need to create a mechanism where the existing available geospatial data can be actually shared through interfaces like UGI, which I talked of, and can be used to improve the accuracy of the map, both for navigation purposes as well as for land and water resources planning. So this is actually our sort of roadmap. We are currently also sort of, if I may use the word in quote, modernizing the survey of India also in terms of both the data collection and also making the data available through these ortho-rectified images, improving also the resolution of the maps, and then mapping the India with more finer grain resolution data. So I believe that the entire geospatial sector will see a lot of resurgence in the coming years in the technology development per se, and also in the applications and the use cases as well. And finally, of course, we need an educational outreach and skilling. And in this context, I think programs such as FOSSEE can play a great role in developing a skilled workforce in the entire area of the geospatial sectors, particularly not just related to mapping, but also related to spatial data science and spatial computing and its applications in resource planning. And I think from the Department of Science and Technology, we'll be really happy to support such initiatives in the coming years. In fact, we have some big ambitions in this entire sector. So once again, actually, thank you very much, and I would like to congratulate the entire FOSSEE team for launching this hackathon. I wish this entire efforts a great success, and I hope that you will be able to interface with other stakeholders in this sector, and together I think we will be able to create an impact. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. So, link.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Next is you will inaugurate. You will do the inauguration. So, so till the time the website is launched, I would just like to mention a few points here for the people who are going to participate in both Geospatial Mapathon and Hackathon, and participants who have joined online participating through our Zoom link and YouTube channel. please remember that we have a few mandates. The first thing is it is allowed for Indian citizens. The second mandate is please use only open source software, free and open source software. Third thing is the shape files that you will be using for populating the maps, it should be from Survey of India portal. And adherence to the National Geospatial Policy is a cardinal mandate that we have put. If we find any violation towards it, your application will cease to, it will be rejected. And usage of India-specific problem statements, use of India-based data is also something that will fetch you more marks. And in fact, we insist only on that to be done. And if it is required, if the problem statement is given by any government agency, if any district collector or someone gives the problem statements, we encourage the colleges to take it up and encourage the students to work on that particular thing by creating a solution. So without taking much time, I would request two websites to be launched. One is IIT Bombay FOSSEE Geospatial Mapathon Edition 4's website. It will be done by Professor Nazir. He is the Vice Chancellor of Sher-e-Kashmir University of Agricultural Sciences and Technology. Link open now. Okay. चलेगा. Open करो. Can you say? Can you just keep the video on? Zoom is not working. Just keep the recording on. Yeah, so really sorry for the inconvenience. So I request Professor Nazir to launch the Mapathon website for the 2024 edition. Yeah, please click on it. Yeah.
FOSSEE Geospatial Mapathon. Congratulations to the IIT Bombay and the team FOSSEE for launch of this Geospatial Mapathon. And Professor Cannon, who has been here working, and his team full day. I was here full day for first with that FDP, Faculty Development Program, and now with this launch ceremony. It is indeed an honor and a privilege for me, and especially when the Secretary DST, Dr. Abhi is also there, and then the Director, Dr. Professor Shiresh Kedari, of this Director of this institution is also here. Sir, my congratulations to Professor Kedari for taking the reins of this prestigious institution of the country. Congratulations to you, sir, and you'll be taking with your vision to the next level. And let me thank Professor Abe, the Secretary of DST, for helping our university in a big way. So many number of programs are happening in our university with the support of the Ministry of Science and Technology. And recently, one Center for Excellence on Antimicrobial Resistance has been sanctioned. It is a consortium program, but we are the leaders of that. It is a big program of 25 crore rupees. And we have IIT Kanpur and the IMTech and the medical institution as the partners of that. And before that, sir, you had sanctioned on Speed Building Center to our university, under the PERS program, and many other programs. But we have, since morning we have been talking about this geospatial technologies and the FOSSEE. They are so crucial for the country today because we are at that crucial juncture, of moving from the developing to the developed nation, and we have to take education and make country as the knowledge economy and the knowledge society. They are very crucial to us, and we have couple of years before started taking certain small steps in this direction. We have established a small center for GIS and remote sensing in our university. And because we believe that agriculture is to be a data-driven kind of activity now, so we have also established one center for artificial intelligence, machine learning in agriculture, and also a center for agrometeorology. And everything is aimed at making agriculture blend with the agri-4 technologies. And to just add to that, we can't just make it happen on the ground unless we have the human capital on the ground. So this year we have we are instituting a program, the BTech program, Artificial Intelligence in Agriculture, and that we are doing with IIT Mandi and also partly with IIT Roper. So those are our smaller efforts. And I said earlier that we are a reform-ready institution, and we wish the institutions and the organizations which are more strong in areas, so we collaborate with them. I would request Professor Abid that this small center of GIS and remote sensing at our place is a smaller one, but then if this national remote sensing center could be in the north of the India, could be at our place because we are in the Western Himalayas, and that would play a tremendous role in that whole region. That would be a big boost to us. And to Professor Kedari, with IIT Bombay, we don't have any formal kind of agreement to collaborate, which could facilitate the faculty, the student exchange, information knowledge exchange with this prestigious institution. And I was just Professor Karen was just speaking a while before that, he was very happy to see that the nomenclature, the name of our university is Agriculture, Science and Technology. He said otherwise normally we call it agricultural sciences, but then we had already thought of it blending with the technology. So we can't do agriculture honestly without now taking to the without blending it with the technology. So it can't happen by us alone. It will only happen when we will be collaborating or working with the institutions like the IITs. And I was saying in the morning that why the other countries around the world are so advanced in agriculture, smaller nations, but too advanced than us. It's only because of the technology and the human capital. There is a small country like Netherlands, and India is 100 times bigger than Netherlands, both in area and in population. But that is the second largest producer of food in the world. The exports from agriculture from that small nation is worth 100 billion US dollars. 100 billion. And the exports from India is just 50 billion US dollars. A country smaller than us by 100 times is only because one about the technology and another is the human power. So I believe this technological part can only happen once we just remove those boundaries between the agriculture and those top institutions, we merge together, because our ultimate goal is therefore to see our nation becoming a developed nation and becoming the third largest economy of the world. Thank you for having me here. And it was a great learning for me from all these learned speakers who were here. And in between that, I was just working with them, trying to see that how could we effect some kind of collaborations with you and help us as a country to move further. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
I request Professor Kale, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar Technological University, Maharashtra, to launch the IoT Hackathons website.
Shall I go? Thank you very much for involving the Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar Technology University in this particular important aspect. Let me take an opportunity to thank Professor Karandikar, who is the secretary, and the eminent researchers for the country who has handled the Department of Science and Technology. Another eminent person just taken a charge, Professor Kedare, a prestigious institute of IIT Mumbai, Professor Kannan, and my fellow colleague, Vice Chancellor of the Agriculture University of the Northwestern region. I am very indeed to be comfortable here because we have been working in this particular domain since last 1.5 decades. We had established the Geospatial Technology Forum. We had established the capacity building with the help of DST, and we had conducted so many capacity building programs early in my university in Aurangabad. What we think now in DEBA 2, because it's the state technological university, and we do have the capability and more adventure of the various institutes linked to the Maharashtra to go with this particular new adventure of the technology, the Geospatial technology, what the DST and government have expect. So we did the data collection, and we had developed, and I was also a co-partner of the DST project of the NISA, that is the National Network Project, where we had collected the surface data for glacier, agriculture, some mine, and some data, and so many things. And we had developed the open source software in Python on that time, that is 5-6 years back.
and done it to the DST in a pilot version. Now, it is an Indian need for the globe. Let us say for Kisan, Prime Minister also always say that the technology for agriculture, health and texture. So as per my constant, health technology and geospatial technology is in the biggest boom towards the common problem of the society at and large, and that of the government also, in multiple disciplines, in different disciplines. And we are the country where the farmers are in importance, and the precision agriculture, the agriculture university vice chancellor here, but we do have the develop the various algorithms and technology for creating the spectral signature of the crops, Rabi and Kharif crops. And on the basis of that, we can estimate the yield estimation, we can estimate disease analysis, we can coverage the field coverage sectors, hydrologies, and so more. So my point here is that if the DBATU can involve in this particular national mission, we are happily to join. We have the capability, resources, and so many platforms. And I request on this particular platform to both of the authority, IIT Mumbai and the DST secretary, any particular task that you can support able to wish, and with the Professor Kannan for capacity building, faculty development, student exchange, and developing the more advanced research laboratory. We developed that particular tool as an open source particularly we are working in the hyperspectral data that we had collected through in situ measure and some satellite, and with the help of some drone data analysis, and through which we can able to develop the n number of application, as I said. So data collection, data mitigation, and to correct these hyperspectral data is a very, very big task. And fortunately, there is no any sophisticated tools available in the market, and that are, if it is though that is ArcGIS and ADAS and some are too costly. We are simply bypass those particular tools with the help of open source, and any type of hyperspectral data that can easily we can able to process up to classification level, in-memory extraction level, and for designing the GIS application. So with that particular background, and taking the need of the society and the mission of the government of India, what we like to think, just like in a soil card, we need to soil map also. We have to collect the various sample from the different corner of the Maharashtra and develop the soil map. It predict to give the farmers predictions which particular soil is particular for which particular type of crop pattern. So cropping pattern, then cultivation pattern, then cropping disease, then estimation, land use, land management, and so many more applications. The thing is that need people, more people, and capacity, because people are at the beginning they are not supposed to be committed to come into this particular field. They say that this is not our field, that's not field. As you say that it is not only the civil engineering, it is not only the hydrology, it is not only the agriculture, it is not only the electronics, it is not only, it consists of so many things, geology, geography, and so many combinations are there. And for collection of the data, there are various measures. That's why it's called geospatial. And in geospatial technology, remote sensing data is one more prominent in grid form, civil, that is measures and metrics, then photogeometry, and there are other sensory mechanisms that need to supposed to collect together. So definitely we need a capacity building center at an enlarge at the central part of the various location. And like us, the university as an affiliated university would like to happily take the part in this particular national mission. So with this opportunity, I assure that from the DBATU and entire my team will take this mission, will be the part of this mission for capacity building, student exchange program, and even though technology development for the open source tool for the n number of applications. So thank you very much again for giving this opportunity and involving us as a DBATU family in this particular national mission. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Professor Kale. So unfortunately, we have lost connection with Uttar Pradesh Technical University. So I'll get into the vote of thanks. And just before that, we had 14 IITs, 15 NITs, and 250 plus state affiliating universities participating in last year's Mapathon. We request for similar support from institutes across India. And for any support you might require, you please write to us. Our IDs are shared already. And for any query, you can always visit our website, gis.fossee.in. And on behalf of the FOSSEE project, our principal investigator, Professor Kannan Wadgalya, our co-PI, Professor Pennan Chinnaswamy, I thank Honorable Secretary of DST, Professor Abhay Karandikar, for his valuable presence here today. Our beloved Director, Professor Shirish Kedare, he has taken out time from his busy schedule and graced this occasion. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Nazir from Sher-e-Kashmir University of Agricultural Science and Technology, Professor Kale, and a very eminent GIS expert in this field has graced the occasion. And in fact, we have a lot of plans for the state of Maharashtra. In fact, for every state, last year we had quota. Overall, we had 50 interns, and now this year we hope to increase the count. With the help of the technical universities, state affiliating universities, we would really like to take the spirit of national geospatial policy in each and every district, each and every village across India. So we thank you for your valuable participation, all the dignities present here and also who have joined online on behalf of the FOSSEE project under the National Mission on Education through ICT, Ministry of Education, Government of India, and our partner NMEICT, National Mission on Interdisciplinary Cyber Physical System, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. We thank all of you for joining this session. Thank you.
Fortunately, we have the government, central government authority with us, and we are, after taking the charge as a secretary, will face-to-face first time meet. So if you allow, I would like to take the advantage to felicitate him in presence of all. Please, sir. I think you need to felicitate. That is done already. Yeah.
We have arranged for high tea, and just before that, we request all of you to please join us for a group photo outside. With this, we'll conclude our session for today. Thank you.